The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is the pilot episode of something a little different here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am your host, Kyle Cornell, and welcome to Unfiltered. This is, like I said, the pilot episode, first time we're doing this, and to give you guys a rundown about what this is going to be. So, our fearless leader, program director Anthony Alford, talked to me on the way home from church last weekend about my role with us here on the podcasting network. And obviously, you guys know, if you follow us, I am on the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast. It's what started everything for this entire network. We've had that show now for well over 2+ years, and it's grown into something truly special. But the thing we're missing right now is a reliable kind of afternoon drive time spot, a person that can come in and deliver not only obviously sports, but I think to a current event level type thing. So that's what we're going to do here. This show is going to be mainly sports based, but every once in a while, sometimes you get a little tired of talking about sports. So we are going to dive into some personal stuff, some things that are happening not only in Northeast Ohio, but possibly some other current events too that dive in. Right now, 5 to 6. This is just going to be an hour show, so I'm glad you're with us. And we've got a lot to break down today on the sports side. Hell is frozen over because I'm wearing a Brown shirt, so we'll talk about that in a little bit, as well as the Cavs. There's a couple stories in the NFL I want to get to as well, involving certain relationships with reporters and head coaches that's been in the news for a little while now too. But first things first, you guys may or may not know about my story when it comes to my professional career and what has happened to me in my time, not only in Northeast Ohio, but in media. I've been doing some form or fashion of media since I was about 14 to 15 years old. Parma City Schools, Normandy High School. Mr. Droz was the radio and TV teacher, still is. And that's where I got my start. I've been doing this now for over half my life in some form or fashion. So I struggled with what I'm about to talk to you guys about because during this media journey that I've been on, I've been canceled and I've been removed. You can look it up. I've told this story on air multiple times, not only with the Side Hustle podcast, but with obviously a bunch of different platforms, TV, radio, now obviously on social media too. But it was taken away and I made a mistake and I've paid for it for 6 years. And the severity of it, you can debate, depends on the person you ask. But I accepted it. I accepted it was a mistake, and obviously I've learned from that, and I'm here, and I'm grateful. And praise God for that, and praise Jesus for it too. But some things that happen, no matter how hard you try to correct, no matter how hard you try to fix, just can't be undone, and just can't be taken aback and taken away. I bring this up today because it was brought to my attention this morning by someone close to me. There is a platform that is feeding news and different kind of lifestyle pieces and topics and sports and all that in the Northeast Ohio area called 330 to go. I followed this platform because there were a few people that I consider friends in this business that I think are great people. Sam Amico actually does some sports stuff for him. He put something out on that page today. And Amanda Casey's another person who I met through kind of the wrestling industry, independent wrestling. Also, shout out to my cat in the background, but nevertheless, met her, and she's a great person. She's been through a lot, but she's so good at what she does, and she needs to have a spotlight. And I followed this page for those two reasons. Love Sam, love Amanda, what they do on a day in, day out basis when it comes to just content and being in media. What I didn't know was what I was told this morning. And it's tough because, like I said, I've been down this road. Now, granted, I didn't do anything this egregious and this wrong. But still, when you go through what I have in this space, you kind of look at things at a different perspective, but this is kind of pretty plain as day. The owner operator, he calls himself a reporter. He kind of runs the ship over at 330 to go. Scott Foster, who goes by Hank Forrester on the channel, has a past. And there's no easy way to say this. He has and is a convicted sex offender. 2003 is when this happened. I can give you the cliff notes, but of course, you guys, it's public records. You can look it up to. Was on, and he admitted to this. He had put a video out on his channel about 5 to 6 years ago, explaining this again for the public to understand. But obviously, again, it's from his perspective. Was in a Yahoo chat room for 6 months to a year, and he was sending sexually explicit content messages to underage girls, 13-year-olds in that area. The kicker, he was a teacher at a Medina middle school, just south of Cleveland, and they were students in his class. I've seen comments on certain platforms saying, well, he didn't actually make contact with them as far as like physical contact. We're losing the plot here with that. He was convicted. He served 6 months in prison. He served 6 months house arrest. He had community service. He's been through the process with that. He was required to register as a sex offender for 10 years. He is no longer on the registry. This is tough. It is and it isn't, but it's tough to bring up because I know this is a serious topic, and this is what we're starting with. But unfiltered is what it means. We tell you the truth. We're honest. And quite frankly, the fact that I worked in news myself for 7 years, I get to have an opinion now, and I get to broadcast this to you guys in this spot. This man claims to be a follower of God now. In 2007, he said he found Christ, our Savior, and he said he is part of the Grace Church. He gave back to the community. He's done things to try and work through, and he has mentioned that how long does my family and myself have to suffer with this? And the big point all that is, it doesn't matter how long you think you have to suffer for it, and when can you move on. We have this space, this media, this platform, and social media, obviously, and podcasts like this have exacerbated the ability for anyone to hop on, turn on a camera, and talk. That being said, it doesn't mean everyone should be able to hop on a camera, turn it on, and talk. Scott, I'm speaking to you as a father. I'm speaking to you as someone who coached middle school boys basketball in Copley, Fairlawn, not too far from, well, it's still a distance from Medina, but again, south of Cleveland. Someone who's, like I said, has an 8-year-old son. You need to leave, man. This needs to stop. That doesn't mean 330 to go needs to stop. I think that the overall platform is good as far as what it's doing, providing news, because this community, Northeast Ohio, does need some kind of alternative to WTAM 1100, to the other news outlets on the TV side that kind of give you some stuff, but it kind of feels like maybe they fall short a little bit. That being said, it doesn't need to be run by someone who is a convicted sex offender. I think that in the video that he posted, which I'm not going to share, there's not going to be any picture of him. There's no content. You guys can do your own research on that. You can look him up. That's fine. It's not my job to put him on blast. It's my job to tell the truth. You need to sell it, and you need to go away, and you need to distance yourself. You said in the video, how long do I have to suffer before I can live my life? And the answer is, you'll suffer for the rest of your life because that's a mistake that isn't forgivable. However, you choosing to be in the public eye now and run a page that has nearly 200,000 followers on it, that's your choice. And you can say in the video that you don't have a skill set for anything else. This is what you have a skill set for. You were a teacher, dude. You had a cup of coffee with the rubber ducks. They found out. They got rid of you. And again, this is not coming from a place of malice or disrespect or anything like that. It's coming from a place of just sincerity and just plainness. You don't need to be in this space. You need to live a private life. You need to pray to God that when you do meet our Maker, that you are forgiven for those sins, man, because those are pretty damn close to unforgivable. For the people that have justified this and said it's not as bad as it could be, it is. It is. It's awful. Supporting someone, even if their mission does have good intent, that has this background, has this history, is bad. And you're talking to someone who has lived through cancel culture. But some people do deserve it. And unfortunately for you, Scott, man, you do. Scott, Hank, you're talking to someone who's worked in media for half my life. Changing your name is not new. That happens. It's media personalities. However, people don't change their name as media personalities to avoid being outed as a sex offender. They change it because they want their lives private, just because they want privacy. They're private people. You, on the other hand, doing this, whether you want to admit it or not, so people can't just automatically look up your name and the first couple searches show that you obviously have this history, that's not okay. If you were going to do all this, you need to keep your name. You need to be open from the beginning, and you didn't. Because if you did, this would have been a story and would have been a thing a lot sooner. And I'm surprised that no other media outlet has picked this up. Maybe they have, and I haven't seen it because this is the first I found out this morning. But I figured no better platform than the opening of Unfiltered on this podcast network to bring this to light and to tell you, man, to tell you, your wife as well. You guys run this together. It's time to move on. Give it to somebody else or shut it down. The people that you're affecting now, the people that make money off of this, like Sam, like Amanda, they have a really hard decision to make, and I hope they make the right one. But because I trust them as people, and it'd be really unfortunate to overlook this and stay with the network because some guy says he's changed. It's not good enough, and it never will be. Y'all have a choice. Everyone does. It's as simple as, and this is the beauty of all this, monetize these spaces by followers, by interaction. Clicking the unfollow button on him and on 330 to go sends a message. I think there was close to 180,000 people that follow. I think the goal should be to get that down to 0. You just can't. And again, it's not about what the channel is. It's about who is running it. And he should not be in this space. I'm not saying you can't live your life and do something else, dude. Learn a different skill. Because being in the public eye and running that ship and profiting off of it, youth events, covering stuff like that, you just cannot. And if you're morally trying to sell yourself and to sell everyone else that you should be able to, you still have a problem. And again, no one's going to tell you this calmly. You're going to get a lot of angry people. And you probably already have. This is nothing new, dude. It's been 23 years. I'm sure you get it every day, whether you want to bring it out or not. I feel for your family. I feel for your kids that have had to suffer through this, but it was your choice that put them in this spot. And you have to own that for the rest of your life. It's not about when am I going to be able to breathe again? When am I going to be able to escape this? When am I going to be able to move on? You don't. And we need, if you are, and the people that were affected by this, the girls that were reached out to, if you need help, if you need assistance, reach out to us. We'll find a way to put you in contact because we support victims of this stuff. We don't support the people that commit these acts. And by following this page and supporting this guy, you do support someone who victimized people. And you can blame drugs, you can blame alcohol, you can blame poor decisions, stress at home, whatever it is. It's still not an excuse. Scott, I'm not going to tell you should be ashamed of yourself because you already know that. This is nothing new. But this is my community too. These are my people as well. Whether we have 400 followers or 180,000, this is my home. And I am not perfect either. I've made mistakes. I've hurt people close to me. I've done things that are wrong. Not this. Not this. Do the right thing. I implore you to. Because you will notice it matters. Take your bow, take your leave, let someone else run it. Or shut it down and find something else to do that's away from the public eye, because I am not the first and I won't be the last. With that, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk Browns. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Unfiltered. Some more semi-lighthearted stuff next. Appreciate you. Back after this.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. helps you lock in and focus over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit w.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
Welcome back, folks. Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell, and that is me. I'm Kyle. Big thanks to producer Eli Moon, who is rocking the board for me today on this hour we have with you till 6 o'clock on this now second day of the NFL draft. And yes, if you know me, you know I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Saints fan, but I put on the Brown shirt for a reason. We're talking about Cleveland and the Browns and their draft on day one. What a very interesting round, to say the least. Not too surprising with the first pick that they made, but the second one drawing some questions from a lot of people, not only in Cleveland media, but really around the country, as far as what they did with that. So let's recap. If you have been living under a rock and don't know what's going on, not Dwayne, but an actual physical rock, nevertheless. So Browns started the evening last night with the number 6 overall pick. We got to the number 6, and they traded it to Kansas City. They got the 9th pick. They picked up a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder. That is in this year's draft as well. So with the 9th pick, the Browns took offensive tackle Spencer Fano out of Utah. Apparently, and it's something that Coach Monken had said in a press conference after the pick, like, hey, this is the guy we targeted all along. We really like him a lot. We like the size, the skill set. 6'6", 315. Played one season his freshman year, about 11 games at left tackle, then moved to the right side, but has shown versatility. I guess at the combine, too, this dude was taking reps at guard, at center as well. So I think nowadays, the more you can do, the better your chances are getting taken earlier on in these draft processes, unless you're just like this otherworldly prospect when it comes to any position at this point. But love the leadership that he brings. He was excited. He told a story about how after the combine, his first visit, he just drove from Indianapolis to Cleveland. I think he was the first person they had, one of those top 30 visits. So good for him. Good for the Browns. This is a guy that you can put at left tackle and feel pretty confident. When the Browns normally draft a offensive lineman in the top 10, Joe Thomas is obviously the big example. Things tend to work. So excited. He's too good of a guy, too good of a kid, too much of a hard worker not to be good. I think people that are worried about the Jedrick Wills thing, there's a reason why they didn't take Caden Proctor. All right. People were kind of asking about that too. 6'7", 355, I think it was. But again, some attitude issues, some does he love football? That's the Jedrick Wills pick, where it's like, hey, all the talent in the world, but is he going to be able to really love the game and give it all back? You don't have to ask those questions about Spencer Fano. He does. He's the leader of that offensive line. He'll be the leader, the new leader of this offensive line if Joel Bitonio retires, which is still a possibility. We'll see what happens with all of that. They didn't trade the 24th pick. The Browns decided to hang out for a while, and they kept it. And this is where people kind of got a little lost with it. They come out and they take Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M. About just a shade under 6-foot receiver, 200 pounds. He's got some decent speed. His separation is the big thing when you watch tape that you notice right off the bat. The dude can just make plays and can get off of his defender. That's huge. So what's the problem then? Again, not a short receiver, but again, a normal-sized receiver. People forget that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, these guys are only 6 feet. So it's not like they're like these otherworldly giant athletes. But the big problem, the drops. And that's obviously something, when I say drop to a Cleveland Browns fan, you start to get like flashbacks to last season and they go hide under your pillow or something like that. It's a serious thing. And he has those issues. A little bit of a diva, which to be a superstar wide receiver in the NFL, you kind of need to be a diva a little bit and demand the ball. So that's a good and a bad thing. You want someone who's a real team guy, but at the same point, you get what you get with wide receivers. The drops are a concern. They really are. And I think when you look at the scope of who's throwing him the football, I think Shedeur is a good quarterback. I think he can make plays. I think that he is very accurate. Problem is, again, he needs protection, needs time. That's why you like Fano, but at the same point, is this new round of offensive linemen going to give him enough time to get it to KC? Then, can he catch the ball? He's got some work to do to prove that. He's not coming in, and I think people really wanted one of those top 3 guys. You heard the stories about the love for Carnell Tate. Jordan Tyson, obviously, his brother Jalen plays for the Cavs. We're going to talk about them next segment because they've got some things they got to clean up. And then, of course, Mekhi Lemon was the other guy. He had a hell of a night. That was a crazy situation. In state Pennsylvania, crazy stuff going on with Mekhi, with the Eagles and the Steelers, and that whole phone call thing is nuts. We'll talk about that at the end of the show too, on a quick little last thing to wrap up. But good receiver in KC Concepcion. He's going to be able to make plays. The consistency scares not only me, but about half the people that cover football right now, because you already have someone in Jerry Jeudy who had his best season with the Browns 2 seasons ago, that got him that contract extension that kind of proved it. And then last year, hurt, missed some time. And then when he was on the field, sometimes he wasn't. And when he was on the field, sometimes he might as well not have been because he was dropping balls left and right. So there is a concern about ball security. That's why, for me, the pick would have been Denzel Boston, the receiver out of Washington, 6'4", 220. Still not like blazing fast, but a solid 40 time for the size, especially a jump ball guy that can give Shador or Deshaun, because let's be honest, there's a very serious chance that Deshaun Watson is your starting quarterback this year for the Cleveland Browns. So be ready for it, because it very well could be a thing. Who knows? That being said, you want that security blanket. You want that guy that if we do get inside the 20-yard line, I can throw the ball up. He's going to come down with it, catch touchdowns. I think he had like 11 last year. Browns receivers only had like 4. So he over doubled that, almost tripled it by himself at that point at Washington. Really good, talented guy too, and obviously a hard worker. So that's not me taking a shot at KC. It's just one of those things where fit-wise, I think it would have made more sense to go Denzel Boston. Still could happen tonight. Still could. I mean, obviously, he's on the board, which blows my mind. I would have thought Buffalo or someone would have took a shot and just taken him, because look at him. And Buffalo does pick before the Browns do in this second round, so anything's possible. But he would have been the guy for me. Instead, KC Concepcion is the pick for Cleveland at 24. So now what? If you're the Browns, if you don't have Denzel Boston there to start the second round, there's been a lot of talk about, I think it's Chase Basantis. He's one of those guys, interior offensive lineman, probably a guard, that kind of thing. It's a rebuild of the offensive line, but there are defensive players out there. The safety, McNeil Warren out of Toledo, place where I went to for a year. It's shocking he's kind of still hanging out. I think the sometimes lack of respect for mid-major players. Luckily, Quinyon Mitchell, I think last year kind of bucked that, or it was 2 years ago with Philly from Toledo. But some of these guys don't get the proper look. McNeil Warren, 6'4", 205 pounds, safety, scary. I think the Browns probably have him circled if they can find a way to either move up a little bit, or if he falls to their pick at the tail end of the 30s there. Don't be surprised if you see McNeil Warren heading over wearing orange and brown. But there's been the other big discussion now of, okay, we've got the lineman, we've got the receiver. What about the quarterback? I'm on record as saying that I think Drew Aller, Medina kid, possibly the best arm I've ever seen on any quarterback that I've seen live. And that I've been to some NFL games. Like it's the kid, just there's something special about that, the arm talent he has. Obviously 6'5", 225, can move, he's mobile. Penn State, not a quarterback school. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of questioned it. I know he wanted to face good competition, Big Ten. Obviously had a really good run last season, the season before this past year with Penn State. Took him deep into the college football playoff, all that stuff. But coming back and then obviously going through this process, getting hurt, not the team in general struggling, the coach gets fired. I mean, there's a bunch going on there. He has got the ability to be, I think, a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Out of everyone not named Fernando Mendoza, I think Drew Aller has the best possible chance. What you don't want to do is see Pittsburgh take him possibly in the third round, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, because that could be not so great. I don't like that if I'm the Browns. This guy gives off heavy Ben Roethlisberger vibes, but a lot less cheeseburgers. So, like, you want to make sure if you're Cleveland, he doesn't go to Pittsburgh. He comes obviously to here. Dylan Gabriel is expendable. I think we can all agree on that. The question now again becomes, what do you do with that third quarterback spot? Because there's a very good chance again that the hits that Shador is going to take, Deshaun and his mental state, and he's not the same quarterback he was 5 to 6 years ago before all this stuff went down in his personal life and even all the stuff went down on the field, multiple Achilles tears, all this. There's a very strong possibility both don't finish the season. So you're going to need a third guy. And people are saying, you don't need to draft a quarterback. You don't need to do all that. If you're not going to sign anyone else, you need to draft somebody to be in that spot because then this is obviously a rebuilding year for the Browns again. So look out for it. I mean, you look at the Luke Altmaiers and the Drew Allars, and I don't think Garrett Nussmeier is on their radar, but Carson Beck wouldn't be a surprise. There's some people saying he can go as high as the Cardinals at 34. There's some people saying he may fall to deeper in the third round. I don't know. But they're going to want someone else in that room because, again, I don't think you can trust Dylan Gabriel in this offense, in this group, in this unit. He needs to be in a much more controlled situation with a better offensive mind that can tap into his potential. I look at Dylan Gabriel and I say the Chargers, one of those types of teams, hell, even the Dolphins at one point would have made more sense because he's essentially a carbon copy of Tua, maybe with a little less weaker arm. So, I mean, I don't know. Great dude, cool kid. I think he's respectful. I think he can be a leader. I just don't know if he's a fit in Cleveland anymore because it was very much a Kevin Stefanski pick. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun. Obviously, don't forget to tune in, like, and subscribe here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network for all the best Browns coverage. You guys did a great job yesterday taking you through that first round. They're going to be around, obviously, today, too. I'm not sure what the schedule is, but I'm sure Anthony will send me a text in a minute and tell me I'm full of shit and tell me I need to get that right. So make sure you guys stay tuned with us throughout the night as we have all the best coverage, Inside Edge Network, over on the YouTube, of course, all across the different socials, and the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com, where you can even get merch. Do we have merchandise? It's crazy to say out loud. Still can't believe it. Quick break on the other side. Man, the Cavs. And I may pull Eli in for this too, because everyone's riding high, everyone's feeling good, and then all of a sudden some struggles with the wine and gold. Or I don't know, are they back to now these alternative blue jerseys that were cool back in the mid 2000s and now I don't like them? I have no idea what the hell they're doing, what they're wearing, any of that stuff. But we're going to try and talk about it, break it down, and see if they can right the ship. They got till Sunday to figure it out, I believe. We'll be back here on Unfiltered after this.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, Use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unfiltered here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Again, Kyle Cornell with you, as always, producer extraordinaire Eli Moon. Behind the scenes, pressing all the dials, making everything sound fantastic. I want to take a quick second to tell you guys about another one of our partners, too. It is BA Sweeties. If you're a fan of the wrestling podcast, of course, our Side Hustle Wrestling podcast, they've been a partner with us for a long time there. They're also a partner with us on the Inside Edge podcasting network. And what a fantastic place. I'll tell you what, it started to heat up, too. It got to 80 today outside, which is nuts. Tell you, man, you got to take advantage of the shake shop they have inside the largest candy store in North America. Double A had a shake the other day. We had it on the podcast too. He actually finished it on the way. Our studios are like 2 minutes from BA Sweeties. This dude finished the shake when we sat down to do the podcast. It was wild, but that's how good it is. Real, actual ice cream, not the fake stuff you get. And don't have to worry about, you go to McDonald's and the machine's down and you don't get to get that cone or you don't get to get McFlurry or anything like that, man. You get the real thing at BA Sweeties. And hey, a couple weeks away, Golfland's going to be opening up. Take the kiddos, take, the significant other date night, whatever it is. Enjoy that. Then be able to go inside and check out. Again, it's a landmark, the largest candy store in North America. It is right in our backyard here in Northeast Ohio at BA Sweeties. You see the address there on the screen, 6770 Brook Park Road, right off the Ridge Road exit off of 480. Just hang that left and look for the giant lollipops. You'll be able to take advantage of some really awesome different deals, including the one we still have for the end of the month. Again, this is courtesy of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast too, but make sure you guys use that promo code LOLLIPOP when you check out. You get $5 off any order of $40 or more, so saving about 12 to 12.5% on your order. Listen, every little bit counts, man. And then and this is something we talked about too, a lot of people, when they go to BA Sweeties, they buy in bulk because they want to, they walk down the aisles, you fall in love with something, you saw something maybe from when you were a kid, anything like that, and you're like, man, I really want my son or my daughter to try that, or I missed that, I want to give that a try again. Next thing you know, your cart's full. So use that promo code, take advantage of some money off, and let us help you save a little bit and really enjoy BA Sweeties again over on Brook Park Road, Ridge Road exit off of Interstate 480. Okay, Cleveland Cavaliers were also in action last night, up 2-0 going to Toronto, and this is not LeBron's Cavs. This is not a sweep of the Raptors. I feel like we got used to just saying that. This is a little bit different. This Raptors team is a little bit different too. A pair of 30-plus point games from RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes led Toronto, I believe, to a 126-104 win. Probably should have wrote that down. But either way, the fourth quarter was the deal breaker. It was pretty close throughout the first three quarters, and the Cavs decided to take a nap in the fourth quarter and got outscored by 20 points, hence the difference you see on the screen there. Rough game. And James Harden led the team with 18 points, but he also led the team with 8 turnovers. So that was a rough showing for James. I think probably his first real game, terrible timing, by the way, but first real game where he struggled bad for the Cavs, who have been on a roll since he showed up. Obviously, 52 wins again this season, looking like they were starting to get really into the groove. One of the better records in the second half of the year after the All-Star break, thanks in part to that James Harden trade. But some struggles, man. And with Jared Allen not showing up, when you need him most, when you would think this kind of play style would benefit him. Donovan Mitchell even kind of taking a bit of a back seat to a point when it came to handling the ball in those key spots because he was essentially taken out of the game by Toronto's length and size on the wing, so to speak. Tough for the Cavs, and now they find themselves still up 2-1, still with an advantage, but going into game 4 on Sunday, having to answer some serious questions. I want to bring Eli in for a second because, all work and no play makes Eli a dull boy. Welcome in, kiddo.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, appreciate you obviously helping me with all this and launching this new show, man, today. But, because I feel like you don't talk enough sports. So how do you feel about the Cavs in this game last night? I know obviously the draft coverage was wire to wire, and maybe you guys you peeked in a little bit and talked a little Cavs, but man, this looking back now at essentially almost a full day after this game, some concerns about James Harden, I think mainly, but also Donovan too kind of disappearing a little bit in that fourth quarter, not being the guy we're used to seeing in those clutch moments for the Cavs. I mean, this is be a little concerning because Toronto, a young team, they don't know any better, man. They're just trying to compete and make a wave and make a splash, and right now, the door is open for them to kick it through.
Yeah, Kyle, it's a little dangerous territory we're entering in here. It's one game, so I'm not going to freak out yet, but this is the time where James Harden starts disappearing and not playing like elite level James Harden that we see from every stretch of basketball until about March, April, starts slowing down, and then May, it gets scary, Kyle. And I guess that's where I'm at. It's one game. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not hitting the panic button. But maybe later on this week, you'll hear me on the network freaking out about the Cavs if they lose another game in Toronto. I think that's the big thing, though. You brought that up, and I think that's a great point because that's why Donovan Mitchell did struggle, I believe, a little bit more than he usually does because he's relying on James Harden to be what we thought Darius Garland would be before we made the move this, at the trade deadline. It's somebody to take the slack off him. You give him a little bit of, take the pressure off. And James Harden wasn't able to do that yesterday. I think another story, too, is the bigs. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley consistently, year in, year out, have disappeared when other bigs play physical with them. And Toronto is not even a physical team as opposed to New York, Boston, even Detroit, Orlando. Those teams are way more physical. And those are the 4 teams that, if we get past Toronto, that you're playing. I'm not going to freak out. I still think this is a 5-game series and the Cavs will rebound, in the next game in Game 4. But I do think it's a concerning thing we're discussing. If James Harden disappears again, the bigs don't play physical, and we're 2-2 coming back to Cleveland because now it's a best of 3. And like you said, anything can happen. They have the talent there. Toronto just doesn't have the experience yet.
It's the team, like when they traded for Brandon Ingram, I was like, oh, okay. They got Scotty Barnes. They got RJ Barrett, who I think is a sleeper, really good second to third option on the team. He's a 20-point scorer. Like the guy can put the ball in the basket. Like say what you will about that draft class too, because I believe that was the Zion Williamson, John Morant, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish. Who knows what that guy is right now? But I mean, dude, like he's talented. There's a reason why he's still playing at a high level, starting at that 2-guard spots, maybe sometimes a 3, depending on what lineup they have. But I'm telling you, man, these Raptors, and you said New York too. Don't sleep on those Hawks. I'll tell you what, Jalen Johnson in that group, I mean, talk about a sleeper team that could sneak up on some people and maybe make a conference finals. Like they match up really well against a team like New York and a team like Boston. So just be ready for what could possibly happen there with that. Looking forward with the Cavs, Game 4 on Sunday. They got to figure this out, man. They who is going to have the ball in his hands when it matters most? And I think you mentioned you brought James in to kind of handle some of that point guard responsibility and the size, the ability to get rebounds too. I think he just does that better than Darius. And again, one of them's playing, one of them's not. That's all you need to know right now about if that trade was worth it. But at the same point, man, you got a killer on your team in Donovan Mitchell. He needs to have the ball in his hands in that fourth quarter. That means James handles the responsibility from quarters 1 through 3, and you let Donovan loose in the fourth. You got to. Like, you have to find a way to get him open because it runs through him. At the end of the day, it's one of those things that I think that we've heard people mention before about like building your team around a guard and how it usually doesn't work. Look at even New York with Jalen Brunson. I mean, great player, but again, they haven't gotten past a certain level because when you're building your team around a guard, mainly a smaller guard, it can get very difficult. Even the James Harden teams with the Houston Rockets, they never got to a finals because you built your team around a two guard that was, hey, he revolutionized the step back. I was doing it. Everyone was doing it. It was crazy. And now, again, you find yourself in that similar spot. You built your team around a guard. Evan Mobley didn't take that step this year. He missed some time with injury, and he had some consistent play here or there, but wasn't enough to say, yes, he's the guy we need to really build around. I don't know, man. If I'm Cavs fans, I mean, the first two games were fun. It wasn't like they blew them out. They were 10 and 15-point games. Like, it was close throughout most of them. They just eventually were just better. I think the Cavs have a better, like, top three players on their team. But, I mean, Toronto, listen, they're the 5 seed for a reason, man. They hung out.
Yeah, they're a tough team, Kyle. I just can't imagine a world where Scotty Barnes should be out rebounding Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, though. I'm just having a tough time imagining that. I've sat here for, it's almost 24 hours. I still am trying to figure out how Scotty Barnes is out rebounding the two most physical bigs during the regular season. It's just, we talk about James Harden, and I think another story that needs to be talked about a lot more, and we'll address it on the network. We'll talk about it on primetime this week, Chad and I, just about these bigs. They have to step up. We talked about, we really pressed about how Jared Allen's so integral to the offense, but also making sure the lights aren't too bright this year and he can actually play some defense. And Evan Mobley, we've been waiting, and this is a series that if you don't feel called out by this series, you talked about it. You are literally playing against your NBA draft classmate. The guy who won Rookie of the Year after all year, the talk that year was Evan Mobley should walk away with the award, and then last moment, Scotty Barnes took it. They're always going to be tied together, Kyle. And if they lose this series, which I don't think they will, but if they do, then Evan Mobley's going to be really probably the Cavalier with the most pressure, feeling the most pressure going into the offseason. So this is a huge series for the bigs, huge series for obviously Harden and Mitchell. And you're right, these Toronto Raptors are just playing like they just don't care. And I guess that's the most worrisome thing is this should have been a momentum-building series. This is the series where you go in 4 and 5, and you still can in 5, but you go win, and then you get ready for whoever it is, Detroit or Orlando. You hope they pummel each other till 6 or 7 games, and then you get ready for the test you've never been able to pass if you're the Cavaliers, which is, can you beat New York or can you beat Boston?
I almost wonder when they made that James Harden trade, if you think instead of that, I still would have done the Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, which, by the way, Dennis Schroeder should be playing a little more. Mm-hmm. Just want to throw it out there. You almost wonder if maybe instead of that, they should have traded like Jared Allen or something like that in some sort of package for like a Walker Kessler or someone that could like just be a menace rebounder, defender. He'll get you some points. He can score, but he doesn't need to be that guy. Yeah. He can be a different kind of force for you. And you could, again, Utah, they're in a huge rebuild right now. They like him. Obviously, they paid him. But still, it's like, hey, the contracts are close. Him and Jared Allen's, that could have made some sense. Jared's still not, he's still young when he's like 27. It's not like he's an old, but he feels like he's been around forever. But I mean, because he has. But I mean, at the same point, you almost wonder, would that have been a better deal? And would a Schroeder being your starting point guard with the defense and the aggressiveness? And you've heard everyone say it. Hated playing against him. Love it when he's your teammate. It's like it's the Draymond Green thing, right? It's that, man, I fucking hate Draymond. But if he's on my team, you'll love it. Like, it's great.
Yeah, you hope that this is the deal that worked out, the deals they made, right? I mean, 2020 hindsight, it would have been nice to even look at Jonathan Kuminga, who you mentioned with Atlanta, is playing really good ball there and seems very re-energized there in Atlanta. And
just doing his thing.
It just makes me think, pal. And I'll hand it back to you. This is your show. I'm just along for the ride. But you'll get more reaction out of me on primetime. Obviously, we'll be Monday through Thursday. If the Cavs drop Game 4, primetime's already must see. It is absolutely must see, and no even caffeine break. You must see it. Like, I'm gonna freak out. Okay, back to you.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. If you watch our friend Jake Underwood and his producer Seth over on 1420 The Answer, Seth already called the series for Toronto. He said it's over. So that's typical Cleveland sports fan, just all pessimistic and all woe is me, and we're awful and we're bad, and we it's very reactionary and clickbaity, and I give Seth a lot of credit. He's great at that. He does his job very well. So, but don't panic yet, Cleveland sports fans. It's going to be okay. And again, worst comes to worst, we can just have a conversation too. So don't worry about it at all. And we have you here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. One more quick break. On the other side, final news and notes. Interesting stories in the NFL, not only through the draft, but through a certain team up in an area of the country that I have beef with for other reasons. But we'll talk about that here in a few short minutes. Stay with us. This is Unfiltered here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Back after this.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes, to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Welcome back, folks. Again, it is the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Kyle Cornell with you here. As always, wrapping up. This is the final segment of our inaugural episode of Unfiltered. And again, to kind of let you guys know how this is going to go in the future. Today, obviously, we had a very serious topic to start. But again, the basis of this show is basically unleashing me. For whatever reason, Anthony said, you know what, we want to give you a primetime spot to kind of go out there and, say what's on your mind. And I asked him in the car ride home from church last Sunday, I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Because this guy has hosted a show with me now for over, almost 2.5 years. And the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast, which you can catch Friday mornings here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. And he looked at me, took a breath. He was like, fuck it, why not? So here we are. But yeah, this is fun. This is great. This is the pilot episode again of Unfiltered. A couple news and notes to wrap up the show here on your Friday. It's a happy Friday, by the way. We have to mention this Mike Vrabel, Dianna Russini thing. Listen, I am of the mindset two grown adults can make their own decisions, do their own things, and there's obviously word that this relationship between them has been going on for years, apparently. With other situations, obviously both are tethered to other people, both with rings and legally. I feel like I'm not super qualified to talk on that topic because of my own struggles and issues I've had in that category. But at the same point, man, yikes. Never had a full-on relationship with somebody else for that long, going through all of it. So two adults, and Mike Vrabel is in such an interesting mental state now that he has decided not to take part in day 3 of the NFL draft because the Patriots are like, we made the AFC Championship last year. Rounds 4 through 7 don't really fucking matter. And so he'll be out, like Dianna is when she decided to walk away from the Athletic, which, based on the number of years this has been going on and the amount of research and digging they were doing on her reporting, probably for the best. She may be joining podcasts, I imagine, more frequently when the dust does eventually clear on this. If it does, we'll see what happens. But obviously, listen, again, 2 grown adults, they are in control of their own actions and what they do. Best of luck to both of them. That's a very messy situation to be involved in. Speaking of messy situations to be involved in, how about Kai Lemon last night in the NFL draft? We talked about this a little bit earlier when we brought up the Browns draft situation because obviously they missed out on taking the most people's third-ranked wide receiver in this very deep wide receiver heavy draft class. But he had a very interesting evening on draft night, obviously in person. He's on the phone talking with the Pittsburgh Steelers general manager. It's the pick before. I think Pittsburgh had the 21st overall pick last night. Pick 20 is obviously on the clock. I think it was Dallas at the time. He's talking to I think it's Omar Khan. He's talking to the GM of Pittsburgh. Like, hey, Makai, excited to get you, man. We're going to take you at 21. Then, like a thief in the night, the Philadelphia Eagles make a trade with their division rival. They put aside division rivalry to give the middle finger to their in-state rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Philadelphia swoops in at number 20. Makai Lemon's got 2 phones, one for the plug, one for the load. He takes a second phone. It's the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman giving a big old fuck you to Pittsburgh. And Makai Lemon is a Philadelphia Eagle. Man, we talk about cinema and the bloodline stuff from back, a couple of years ago in WWE. That's freaking cinema right in front of your face. They have video of it. They're going to play it on ESPN. It's awesome. Loved it. Listen, not a Browns fan. I'm a Saints fan. I put this on today to support the area and to support the 216, the 440, the 330. I think now the 234, that's an area code we're using. But this is awesome. And good for Makai going to a great situation. Either way, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, let's be honest, pretty damn good spots to be for most players, unless your name is A.J. Brown now, which he'll be hanging out with Mike Vrabel. So it all kind of comes full circle. But, man, what an exciting time to be a sports fan, and what a fun night it was last night in the draft. Expecting more fireworks tonight. Maybe we see a couple quarterbacks get taken. Maybe we see, the Browns, what are they going to do? Is it, again, leaning more towards the line? Will Andrew Berry start showing his defensive card again because he took 2 offensive players in the first round? Again, hell has frozen over. I'm wearing a Brown shirt, and Andrew Berry took an offensive player with a first-round pick. So sound the alarm. Here we go. It's going to be crazy. And we'll see if they work. But Kyle Lemon going to work on probably getting a 3rd phone. One for family and one for multiple teams that want to draft him. That was crazy. When the agent walks up and hands him the 2nd phone, it's the Eagles. They're taking you now. He just hands the Pittsburgh Steeler phone to the agent. And I feel bad for Rob Ruzicki. I know he's a Pittsburgh guy. That was unfortunate. You got the guy they didn't want, the offensive lineman. They probably needed an offensive lineman anyway. But I'm a big fan of Will Howard, though. So I think that will work out, even if Aaron Rodgers decides not to come back. That was just great. That was great TV. I really enjoyed it. It was freaking tastic. Well, that is going to do it, guys, for the opening, the pilot episode of Unfiltered here on the Inside Edge podcast. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in as always. Of course, want to thank everyone here at the podcast network, all the different shows, the draft coverage and everything everyone does, as well as my producer, Eli, of course, the owner of the podcast network, Peter Tellup, for being a great guy. It's always good to have a millionaire backing you up with all the funds he has. So we really appreciate that, Pete. You really make us all feel special. Of course, Double A for having confidence for some reason to put me in this spot. Man, we're just getting started. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's more. We'll see what happens. Who knows? But hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Appreciate you all very much. Have a good, great weekend. And I'll steal a line from our friend Jake Underwood one more time. Tell someone about Jesus. Tell someone about it. It's worth it. We love you. We'll see you next time here on Unfiltered.